What's up world, it's your boy Z, and today we have a super exciting product review video to get into. I can't wait to set this bad boy up and see how it treats me and how I perform with it, so we're just going to dive right into it. What we're going to be going over today is a new board setup, but this isn't just any new board. This is a very interesting and very uniquely shaped board. What we have is the new Krooked DLX True Fit mold. So what that means is that this board is 8.5 inches in width, which is nothing new for me. I've been riding 8.5 inch wide boards for as long as I can remember, the last 5+ years or so. But what's super special and super interesting about this board is that the length of this board is 31.35 inches and the wheelbase of this board is 13.75 inches. So for context, traditionally the 8.5 inch wide skateboards I've been skating have all been around 32 inches in length and have had a wheelbase of around 14.5 inches. So as you can tell, this board is a lot smaller and a lot more compact than your traditional 8.5 inch skateboard, which is why I'm so stoked to set it up and skate it. Really the main objective for this board and what I'm hoping to accomplish is to land my first ever flip out. I've never flipped out of anything in my life, so I've been visualizing and manifesting a tail slide kick flip out. I remember seeing a Torey Pudwill video of him talking about his setup, and he mentioned that he rides an 8-inch wide skateboard, but his board is actually a custom mold because he has the wheelbase a lot shorter than the traditional 8.0 skateboard. And he said for him and how he skates, like that's just what works. So hoping to get a little Torey's magic here with the shorter wheelbase. But yeah, before I say farewell to this one, I'm gonna just play some of the memories I made in it, just so you can also see, you know, how I skated traditionally with the 14.5 inch wheelbase, and then can compare it to the new shorter board and shorter wheelbase and see if there's, you know, if the skating gets any better or any worse. At least we'll have a reference point. But yeah, that's kind of it. So I'm gonna say goodbye to this bad boy, and then we're gonna head over and grip that bad boy and get it going. Alright gang, here we are. It's been 3 weeks now. I actually filmed my initial reaction on the skateboard, which I was going to use as a segue into this overall review. But something happened in that moment that I think deserves a video of its own, so stay tuned to see what that's all about. But figured I'd do a little check-in just to talk about my thoughts so far and what my plans are moving forward with this skateboard. I've skated in this thing 5 or 6 times now for a total of maybe 8 or 9 hours or so. So I'll go ahead and play the few clips I was able to get with this skateboard, and then I'll talk through what I was experiencing. So as you can see, definitely had a lot of fun with this skateboard. I was even able to land my first ever flip out. Although it may have been somewhat of a poor man's flip out, just a basic manual kick flip out, it's still a win in my books. It opens the door to new possibilities, so I'm pretty pumped about all of that. Unfortunately, wasn't able to tailside kick flip out, which was a big goal of mine with this skateboard, and I'll talk through what I was experiencing as I was trying that trick. But starting from the beginning, after first setting this board up and just riding around, the only difference I noticed was that my trucks just felt loose. So I had to tighten them up immediately, which I thought was pretty interesting because I haven't tightened or loosened them since I first got them 3 or 4 years ago or so. But after tightening them up, I can't say that word, after tightening them up, I was able to adjust and get comfortable on this board fairly quickly, which I was a little surprised about. But I think that's just because of how infrequent I skate. I'm only skateboarding once or twice a week. So it's not like my muscle memory is super fine-tuned to a specific, board size and setup and whatnot. And I think that worked to my favor in being able to adjust fairly quickly to this skateboard. From there, kick flips and heel flips, they were exactly what I thought they would be. Super easy, able to do them with minimal effort. I felt like a Shad Ware when he does his lazy heel flips. I was able to do those tricks very casually, and that was great and all. But when it came to tray flips, on the other hand, I could not tray flip for my life on this board. And tray flips are one of my most consistent flip tricks. They're my favorite flip trick. And I just could not do them on this board, and I couldn't wrap my head or comprehend why that was the case. I started watching the videos of how I was doing them previously and noticed on the longer wheelbase boards, it seemed as though my tray flips would be very low to the ground but would spin very fast. And then the few that I landed on this board, I'd probably land 1 out of every 10 on this board. The few that I did land on this board, it seemed as though they were popped a little bit higher and would spin a little bit slower. And I'm not a physicist or anything, but my theory for what I was experiencing is that when the trucks are further apart, when you have a bigger wheelbase, it makes it easier for the board to carry its momentum to do that full 360-degree rotation that it needs to do, as opposed to when the wheelbase is smaller and the trucks are closer together, it's harder for it to carry that same momentum and get that same momentum to do that full 360-degree rotation and flip. I don't know if that's the case or not. I may be way off there, but in my head, that kind of is how it made sense based on what I was feeling and experiencing. But I honestly have no clue, and that was a deal breaker for me, and part of the reason why this is going to be the last time you see this board with trucks or wheels on it. I've come to find I just can't skate this board, and really the main reason being, it's not just because of tray flips, right? I like to get my money's worth, so spending $75, $80 on a brand new board and matching grip, I did all I could to make this board work and give it an honest shot. I really wanted it to work out, but the board being the size it is, 31.35 inches long, as you can see on the clips, even when I landed bolts, it was like I was landing with my feet together. This board just had a smaller center of gravity, and I found myself thinking I was gonna land tricks, but then having the board just shoot out from underneath me and me landing on my ass. And I've never had that happen as often as it happened on this board with any other board. I just couldn't really find my balance on this smaller board, and it was just throwing me way off. On top of that, when I was skating in a Shads, for example, which are half vulcanized, half cup-sole shoes, the board literally looked like I was skating with a tech deck. It just looked so small under my feet. It didn't look proportionately right at all. And I felt as though I was confined to only skating vulcanized shoes on the skateboard because they're slimmer and made the board look a little bit more appealing from a proportionate standpoint. But even then, I only have like 2 pairs of vulcanized shoes. I have the Janowskis that you saw, which are half a size too small. My toes felt crammed in there. They literally felt like they were bleeding. That was not an enjoyable session at all. And then I have the Nike SB Blazer Courts, which I got for like $35, $40, which are really just kind of practice / mess around shoes for me, not intended for the streets or street clips. So didn't really feel I had the appropriate shoes for this board, and wasn't going to make the additional investment to buy a pair of shoes for this board because, like I said, it was just not working out no matter how hard I tried. And then when I did eventually try my tailside kickflip out that I wanted to do, I could barely even get into tailside. And when I did get into a tailside, I could not hold it for my life. And just since the board is so small, it has a smaller nose and a smaller tail, I wasn't able to sit in it. I have a size 12 shoe, and I love a fat nose, a big fat nose, because I use my nose as my tail for tail slides, and I need all that surface area to just like get my whole foot on there and be able to sit in there. And with this board, I just wasn't able to do that. So I couldn't even really try to flip out because I couldn't even get into the trick to begin with. So it was very frustrating. And you know, for all those reasons, I'm unfortunately gonna have to hang this board up. But I'm glad that I got this experience and I got to see what I don't like about skateboards. It got me one step closer to finding what I do like. I'm glad I got to document it and share kind of my thoughts and journey with this board with all of you. I'll probably put this board on eBay if anyone's interested in buying it. It does have a very nice grip job. It has a lot of life left in it, obviously, and I'm willing to hook it up for low. So leave a comment below. Let me know if you're interested. I don't expect anyone's gonna buy it, so my plans are just to hang on to this board. Maybe I'll find use for it down the road, or can find someone that can put it to good use that the board might be better suited for. But I think the moral of this video is you live and learn. So I'll catch you guys on the next video where we set up the new board, and hopefully that gets us one step closer. Hopefully that gets us to finding the perfect board for me. But I'm excited about this journey. You know, sometimes it takes a little bit of time. First time wasn't a charm. We'll see what the next board holds. But appreciate you guys watching. If you have any comments or feedback or questions, leave them below. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Much love.